Hi everyone. I just wanted to share a quick revelation I had last week around limiting beliefs and why people keep coming up against limiting beliefs, and they feel the need to dig deep to uncover deeper traumas and trying to find root causes of things, only to then realize that once they've done work healing and unblocking those beliefs and healing an inner child and EFT tapping and whatnot, they still have that belief and they still come up against the block or resistance, or they have reached another limit or another ceiling and they have to do work over and over and over again. And this is something I've experienced as well in the past when I used to think that way and I used to do this sort of work on myself before I realized how things actually work. Um, and what would happen is sometimes you have a limiting belief that's really affecting your life in a big way, and you just don't know where it came from. Sometimes you can pinpoint certain things in your childhood, but as you probably know, in self-development, manifestation, all of those things, a lot of your beliefs are formed pretty much by the age you're 6, because when you are a child, you just absorb everything around you. So a lot of your limiting beliefs and the way you see the world is formed when you're only a few years old. And sometimes you don't remember what happened when you were that young. Like sometimes I don't remember what I did last week or even yesterday. So how can you remember what really triggered certain things or contributed to certain limiting beliefs? So that can be hard to uncover. And what used to happen for me, and I don't know if it's the same for you, if you've been trying to unblock certain things that have been affecting your life, in or like the major things that you're trying to attract, maybe a lot of money, maybe relationships, whatever it is. So I used to worry that I can't really um, overcome certain beliefs or limitations because I don't know where they came from. Therefore, I can't remove the root cause. And I would do exercises like time techniques and all of those things to try and figure out when was the first time I've experienced something or when the belief was formed. And sometimes things would come up and other times they wouldn't. And I would worry that unless I figure those things out, I can't move on to the next stage. So that in itself is in fact a limiting belief. So thinking that you need to know that is a limiting belief that's preventing you from overcoming that limiting belief. So that's one thing. But the actual revelation that I had is that you don't actually need to know what that limiting belief was or when it happened. Because when it comes to limiting beliefs, there's a whole lot of things that get piled on top of each other and associated by the brain. Sometimes even unrelated things sometimes get thrown into the mix. And I just have a little analogy in my brain. If you ever have a dog and you ever experienced training that dog, and your dog has picked up bad behaviors, you would have probably learned that sometimes something completely unrelated can trigger something in the dog and they would form some sort of a reaction to it. Like maybe some loud noise was somewhere while they were chewing a bone, so and they get scared, so now they've associated the unpleasantness of the noise and the fear with chewing the bone, even though the bone had absolutely nothing to do with it. So sometimes our brains as humans do similar things. They something triggers something in our mind and we form a limiting belief or start forming certain emotions and things like that. And then other things get piled on top of it where your belief is triggered by various different things and affecting your life in many different ways. So what I want to point out here is the fact that the original cause, or whenever that belief was formed, is not actually the cause of your limiting belief that you're experiencing now. Let's say you've got a limiting belief about making a certain amount of money and it being easy and all that sort of stuff. And money usually has very many different associations and beliefs around it that contribute to, say, the lack of money, or you always even making a certain amount of money, even if you make over the amount that you're used to, and then somehow you end up losing it or spending it or whatever. So what I'm saying is the original cause or original trigger, original event that contribute to that is actually not the cause, is not the root cause, and subsequently you don't need to know what it is and when it happened if you can't figure it out for yourself. That event that has started the whole thing is actually a trigger that triggered your mind to create a story around that event or around that item or whatever it is. And then that story then created a certain emotion and a feeling in your body. And then that feeling then or emotion gets trapped in the body. And because you're kind of attaching yourself to it, you're merging them with the story, you start associating yourself with the story. So all of that then kind of compounded and trapped the emotion in your body, and that emotion holds the story within it, and you are then living your life from that story. So whenever a similar trigger comes around, or the same trigger, or something that's related to this particular subject, the emotion gets brought up in your body, and because you're then feeling it, it starts bringing up the story again. Your mind not only relieves that story and emotion, it also then adds other stories on top of it, because you might be doing something else right now, and your mind then associated the original story with something else, and they got connected together. So in other words, this story is now getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the actual root cause of the limiting belief that you are experiencing right now, why you can't have something or can't achieve something, can't manifest something, the root cause of it is actually the emotion that is trapped in your body. So it's good. Well, I don't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with the original events. Obviously, that's when things started being triggered in your body, but the actual root cause of the belief now is the emotion in your body. That's why you don't have to dig through your traumas to figure out what it is. All you have to do is remove that emotion. Once you remove the emotion, or rather let it flow through the body, so you move it and let it leave the body, and that emotion is no longer trapped in your body, then your trigger is not triggering you anymore. Therefore, your mind is not telling you stories around that particular subject. Therefore, your limiting belief gets removed automatically, because when you're completely neutral around that trigger, you're no longer self-sabotaging, you're not stopping yourself, your mind's not telling you why you can't do certain things, because you're now completely neutral around it. So you can go and take the next steps, whatever you need to achieve. You then also can have your body in the vibration of whatever you're trying to manifest. So in the vibration of the experience of having that desire manifest to you. And I talk about being in the frequency and the alignment of your desire a lot more in other videos and other things on my socials. So when you're completely neutral, you can then move your body into the vibration where you want it to be, because while ever you've got those emotions stuck in there, your body is in the vibration of lack, because your body is in the vibration of that story that you've created, that's created the limitation. So I hope that makes sense. So your root cause is the emotion in the body. Therefore, once it's neutralized, once the emotion is moved through the body and it's no longer trapped in your body, then you no longer have the limitation. That's why you don't need to dig deep and uncover the traumas. You don't have to worry about what happens if you can't uncover it. You don't have to worry about it if there are ancestral traumas that have passed down through the generations and you don't even know. Like, you can't pinpoint any particular time when you've experienced it. And more importantly, I want to mention is the common advice is you need to feel into it. You need to relieve the trauma in order to get rid of the emotion. But that actually doesn't, feeling through the emotion does not actually clear the emotion. In fact, the more you feel into it with everything, with your mind, with your body, the more you associate with it. So the more it traps it in your body. The idea here is actually to detach from the emotion so that it can move through the body and you remain neutral. So your mind remains neutral while your body's letting the emotion flow through it. while you are experiencing the emotion with everything, with all your senses, and you're feeling all the feelings, which is the common advice, that is actually trapping you further, or trapping the emotion further down in your body. And therefore, the stories remain there. And if you replace one belief with another belief, the emotion is still in your body. So it's still holding you back. Your vibration is still in that emotional state, is still with the story, is still with that limitation. To clear the belief, to clear the limits, to clear the ceilings, you need to remove the emotion so that you can lift yourself to the vibration where you want to be. So if you want to hear more about it, or any other associated videos about being a vibrational match, if you want to work with me one-on-one to help you overcome all these things and help you navigate your brain and master your mind, let me know, send me a message, and I would love to talk to you.